I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't like LinkedIn. I don't like doing Outbound. I don't even want to be on YouTube. It probably sounds pretty crazy when I'm sitting here literally recording a YouTube video as I say that, right? Well, let me walk you through why I'm doing it all anyway. LinkedIn, for example, I'm posting multiple times per week. At the moment, roughly 3 times per week, every single week, and doing a monthly sprint where I prepare a whole month's worth of content in a weekend towards the end or start of a new month. With YouTube, as you know, I've committed to uploading 3 long forms a week and daily shorts in between. And with Outbound, we are about to launch a massive campaign, which is going to result in me having to fire probably roughly 50 DMs a day, I would say, on top of what will eventually be a layered cold email strategy. But the DMs are very personal and they go off my personal account. The format might be me recording a video and sending it to someone like a personalized message. It's very much you putting yourself out there, and it's to a total stranger in almost all cases. It's a very uncomfortable thing to do. And as far as my personality, I wouldn't call myself an introvert, but nor an extrovert. I think it's a spectrum. I don't think either of those terms really describe where I fit, because I'm not introverted in the sense that I'm antisocial and would prefer to stay home and read a book, nor am I extroverted in the sense that I'll go out on the street and talk to everybody I see, although I can sort of assume both roles. It's kind of a fluid state depending on where my head's at, I think, but I don't resonate particularly well with either of those two terms. Nonetheless, I don't like the idea of constantly having to put myself out there. So why do it? Well, this is what I kind of want to explain, because ultimately my goal is freedom. It's just autonomy over my own life. And so how does producing content tie back to that at all? And I guess we got to strip it back to the fundamentals, right? This is the thought process that I went through. It's basically something that I've increasingly become aware of. I've known for a while now, but I've just been so hesitant to start. But it eventually got to the point where it's like, there's never going to be a perfect moment. If, for example, you wait until such time that you're sophisticated and polished enough, you've just missed out on this massive period of compounding, and also lost that raw relatability, which is, I guess, what I have now. I'm not that different to how I was less than a year ago when I was stuck working a 9 to 5. So if I waited 2 years down the track when I'd already scaled a business to 7 figures, if it was younger me watching that, I'd be like, well, that's great, that's all cool, but I'm stuck in corporate hell. Like, help me. How does this help me? Why am I doing it, despite the fact that I don't want to? I guess, fundamentally, if we look at the economy, how do you make money? Because money is a necessary tool for freedom. If you don't have any money, you've got problems. Once you've got enough money, you can then direct it into whatever you want. It gives you optionality. It lets you have control of your life. So how is money made? Well, if you've got nothing, the way to make money is to provide value. In the current way the economy is structured, the way is to provide value, as much value as you can, solve as a painful a problem as possible that a lot of people have, and try and solve it you individually, try and solve it or with your team for as many people as possible. The more people you reach, generally the more economic benefits as money, usually, are going to flow in your direction. That's fundamentally how it works. So how does that tie back to content? Well, once you've got a problem to solve, how do you say, hello world, I can solve your problem. I'm the man for the job, right? And this is where content comes in. You could be the best in the entire world at something. In my lane, for example, that might be strategic financial advice to business owners. I could be the best in the world. I could be locked up in this apartment, reading textbooks, running analytics, doing all sorts of shit, and basically just be locked in the lab and just be a total global expert who spends 14 hours a day just deep in the trench. But I could do all of that and just make no money and live like a bum, because if nobody knows, it's no good, right? And so once you've got the skill, or you've got something that you're ready to offer to the world, then immediately you have the problem of, how do I go to market? How do I make enough noise and get enough attention that ultimately some people that have the problem then come to me with their money? And that's really the constraint you face. And increasingly in today's world, it's not just about getting clients. Like, attention has almost become a currency in 2025. I think that's definitely true. If you look at how people are spending their days, the average screen time that the average person's running up, and especially if you're involved in e-commerce or any activity where you have to run paid ads as a method of reaching your customers, if anybody who's done that knows, buying the attention off a platform that holds the attention, such as Meta or Google, it's very, very expensive. It's extremely expensive. So if you find yourself, you've got great skills, you can solve real problems, and there's a big market for what you solve, you've got all the raw materials to basically improve your life massively. However, what's missing is you reaching all of those people so they know about you and can come to you with their problem and you can fix it for them. And when you get to that point where you're ready to reach out, if you've got no audience, you have to pay. You have to basically rent an audience from someone else at a cost. That might be Google ads, it might be Meta ads. You're going to burn a fortune doing that. It's literally brutal, and it will kill a lot of businesses before they even start. I've seen it firsthand. So that's one side of it. Then there's also the obvious other benefits of whenever I need a problem solved, and increasingly being in business, this is almost a daily occurrence where I need to do something that I'm not an expert in. Like, I acknowledge what my lane is. Obviously, as a business owner, you have to wear a lot of hats at different times, but sometimes it gets to a point where there's just a problem that it doesn't make sense for me to solve it myself. I can't streamline it with AI or anything and get it done quickly that way. It's like I actually need another human to help me here. Or it might be an ongoing recurring problem and I don't have the bandwidth for it. And every single time that situation occurs, what you find is you need human help. Where are you going to get that from? You can, again, post a job ad. Usually you have to pay for that, and it's a different funnel, but it's the same thing as paid ads for customers. This time you're just paying for an ad to try and attract an employee or a contractor, whether it's through Upwork or one of the other platforms. But it's just all of these types of things. And it may be one more example, like say you purchase something personally from a business and what arrives is not what you ordered, or it's just not up to the quality standard, and you get pissed off and you want your money back, or you want a resolution. If you're a nobody with no audience and no followers and you're making a bunch of noise, and these days most of the big businesses don't even have, like, customer service doesn't even seem to be a thing anymore in 2025. It's like everyone's using these horrible bloody chatbots. But if you're a person who has an audience who can complain, in that situation equals leverage, you're going to get treated massively differently. People are going to be very, very careful, and they're not going to want to piss you off because you wield power. You can generally do damage. So I guess you take all of that into account and it suddenly becomes a no-brainer. For me specifically, my goal is to scale a business, grow a team, scale a business, deliver value at scale to a wide range of clients. And for me, the content on LinkedIn, not so much YouTube, but especially LinkedIn, that LinkedIn is a direct method of building up rapport and trust over time with prospects that I'm ultimately going to be reaching out to with a cold DM. So despite the fact that I hate posting on LinkedIn, I just have no choice. I locked it in the calendar and I have to do it. And with YouTube, it's like, I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to take this, to be perfectly honest. It's what I'm posting on here is just raw truth. It's very different to the authority style content that I'm putting on LinkedIn. But nonetheless, I see YouTube as sort of an all upside play. For example, I need help in my business in the future. I need to attract a person that can do a certain role. Once I have a little bit of an audience on YouTube, I literally can just put in my video, hey guys, I'm looking for this type of person and this type of person. So hit me with a DM if that's you. That type of leverage is incredibly valuable. It's time saving. So for the small cost in terms of time and effort that YouTube takes, I think it's a no-brainer. And I mean, there's also the other added benefits of, I guess, talking to a camera. Media is becoming increasingly relevant if you're in business. It's a pretty critical skill as a founder to be able to talk to a camera. So worst case scenario, this channel gains no traction whatsoever. At least I've gotten better. I've got my reps in it at speaking to the camera. So I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And there's probably one other thing before we finish that I guess comes down to pattern recognition. And this is in life more generally than just with content. But what I've found through my adult life is that when you're facing mental resistance to do something, you don't want to do it, it doesn't make you feel good, it's usually where the growth is, right? That's something I've found to be true almost as a law of the universe. If you lean into discomfort and you do it on a recurring basis constantly, and you actually train yourself to, despite the fact that I don't want to do this task or this task, I'm going to do them. Those are the only places where your life actually changes. Like when you're just operating within your comfort zone, your life tends to remain stagnant in that pool within those four walls. Whatever that defined area is, you're comfortable in there. and it feels good, but it's not actually good. If your goal is growth, you're much better off to have a day that makes you uncomfortable. Like, for example, with this, what I'm doing right now, I don't want to do it. It makes me a little uncomfortable, although I'm getting better at it. Posting on LinkedIn, I still hate that. And it's not only posting, I have to comment on other people's posts. I've been doing it for months, still don't like it. Haven't warmed up to it really at all, but it's just one of those things where it's like, fuck it, this is just what you got to do. I've definitely learned that you lean into that and your life changes usually pretty quickly once you just be out of cold water for a bit. So if you were looking to grow, I would 100% recommend. It's a good signal. It's definitely a good signal. If you are feeling uncomfortable on an ongoing basis, it probably means that you're moving, you're gaining momentum. So I'll leave this one there and I'll see you guys in 48.